preparing this week, I went to watch Reverend Rebecca's sermon from last Sunday. And Rebecca's praying for us right now, so I'm not gonna bother her. But I laughed for days as I was listening to Reverend Rebecca's sermon, because I was like, Reverend Rebecca is low-key telling all of us to clean out our ears. She's like, listen, y'all, just clean out your ears. It's not that deep. It was so funny to me, because I was like, did people get that? Did people really get that she was like Grandma saying to all of us, clean out your ears. Just clean out your ears. God is always speaking, clean out your ears. And then I had to double laugh this morning as we ran into all of these technical difficulties, and I'm internally shaking my fists at God. Like, why do you make it so difficult? And then I was like, oh, clean out your ears, Amani. Clean out your ears. So here we are, and I hope if nothing else today, that we are all in a place of openness and willingness to receive God's good, that is ever available, even in the midst of technical difficulties. From Jesus of Nazareth, from Mary Magdalene's Gospels. The good has come among you, pursuing its own essence within nature in order to reunite everything to its origin. The good, capital G good. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, which is our anchoring foundational teaching. The science of mind is not a special revelation of any individual. It rather is the culmination of all revelations. The realization that good, capital G good, is universal, and that as much good as any individual is able to incorporate in their life is theirs to use. This realization is what spiritual living means. The good, which is another name for God, another name for capital L love, is among you. And that good, as Ernest Holmes teaches, really in every teaching throughout the entire Science of Mind text and libraries, throughout the perennial wisdom of ancient times all the way through to today, that good is among you. And when we choose to consciously incorporate it and use it, we now consciously participate in reuniting everything to its origin. That's heavy. It's a big deal. And it's ordinary. It is common if we so choose to make it. Ernest said the good is universal. Jesus of Nazareth said the good is among you, pursuing its essence in nature. And we are that nature. We are that aliveness where the good is pursuing itself through our very beings. And as we've been covering the last couple of weeks, thank you for Reverend Rebecca just distilling it down into one simple activity of cleaning out your ears. That good is among us, but we need to make it a conscious awareness. It's up to us to incorporate that good in our living. But we can't do that if we're not aware of it, which is why we spent the last 2 weeks practicing discerning love's impulse, cleaning out our ears so that we can consciously connect to the guidance that the good is providing. Getting out of the way, our misunderstandings and our misbeliefs, the emotions and feelings that we think might be guiding, but are actually clogging the way, sometimes keeping us stuck, especially when we get a little bit addicted to those feelings, especially when we get a little bit committed to avoiding those feelings. And so in order, as Ernest says, in order to incorporate and then make use of the good, we have to connect to it. So when we talk about expanding our consciousness, growing our awareness, that's what we're talking about. It is not some transcendent practice where we get to somehow bypass this human experience. The good is among you, pursuing its essence in nature. Not just those beautiful daffodils that are like in their glory right now, right? We are those beautiful daffodils. We are nature itself. And the good's entire intention for nature, for life itself, is to reunite it in its origin. So when we talk about the good, when we talk about making manifest reality more true to the truth of the good, what we are talking about is aligning ourselves more deeply, more truly, more wholly to the good that we are. We are talking about making this giant, epic idea real in our own awareness, and then making use of it. And it's as simple as like this experience I had this morning of shaking my fist at God, all up in my feelings of frustration. And the invitation, which is always available, always being made, because God is everywhere, present at all times, always good. The invitation is to go, oh, this isn't going how I wanted, but there is good here. There is good being made available to me if I am able to move through and past my feelings of frustration. So that I can then make myself more available and aware of the good that wants to unfold. The pursuit that spirit is on to have its essence revealed in me, through me. You know, our overriding series right now is Spirit is on the move through you. And the thing is, it's always true. But are we on the move? Are we willing to move out of the way anything that's got us stuck? Are we willing to move out of the way any ideas of how we think it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to look like, so that spirit's pursuit of its essence in me can more fully unfold and make itself real in this manifest reality? These are really big words and really big ideas, but at the end of the day, they can be distilled down into some really simple activity. Clean out your ears. Recognize the ordinary is the good, ever available, ever present, in and as and through every tiny little piece of life. I see a hand in the back, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. What would you like to share? You may use the microphone when we are wrapped up, but it will be later. Okay? When my turn is done and when some of the other folks' turn is done, I'm going to have you come on up. You're welcome. The good is ever unfolding, but are we willing to welcome what is outside of what we think is supposed to be occurring? And trusting that every moment is the good seeking to make itself manifest. Even when we think that's not supposed to happen. church. There's no talking in church. But who says? The live stream is supposed to happen. That's because I said so. But who says? And can I open myself wide enough? Can I step outside of my arrogance long enough to make room for even more good? Good that is beyond my vision and understanding. That part of our teaching that says God is everywhere present, never missing in every little piece of life and beyond our understanding and sight. Which means we gotta humble ourselves. We have to humble ourselves to all of those pieces and parts of the good that we don't even know about, that we haven't even bumped into yet, that it's always trying to give itself to us. Sometimes beyond our understanding, in some really mysterious ways. And that the opportunity in what is actually ordinary is extraordinary. I want to share the definition of ordinary with you. From one of the online dictionaries. Ordinary is with no special or distinctive features, normal. What is commonplace and standard. The good is among you. It's a standard. Ernest said the good is universal, which means it is common to all of us. What is extra? Excessive, extravagant, to a greater extent than usual, especially. So as we grow our awareness, as we expand our consciousness, that ordinary, common, standard good gets to become extraordinary because we make that standard excessive. We decide to consciously engage in the good, so it is especially common. Extraordinary doesn't mean something outside of our realm of possibility or experience. It's extra common. It's extravagantly normal. And we each have an opportunity to participate in that. To consciously decide, I am going to consciously be a participant in Spirit's pursuit of reuniting us in our common good. And for every single one of us that makes that commitment, that makes that choice, that decides to be a participant in the good, that vision of extraordinary goodness comes into being. And we get really wrapped up in like, what is mine to do? The world is falling apart at my feet. It is going to hell in a handbasket, and I don't know what am I to do. I feel so small in it. Do I even matter? Does my activity, my action, my words even matter? I mean, it is a shiznit show out there. What can I do? Extraordinary goodness. I can clean out my ears and make myself available to however love is trying to point me. And then I recognize that I've made a commitment to being a participant, a conscious participant in Spirit's pursuit of reuniting us in our common goodness. And whatever that tells me to do, I'm gonna do that. So right in this very moment, Spirit has said, I need you to preach anyways. Spirit says, I need you to put down all the frustrating pieces and things and missing things, and I need you to be a stand for good anyways. Spirit is saying to each and every one of us, whatever feels like it is in the way needs to get out of the way so that you can fulfill your purpose as a participant in the good. And whatever that activity looks like, whatever that choice is, whatever that action is in your life, is absolutely perfect. The original title I had for this talk today was Ordinary Kindness. And as I sat with these ideas and did some more writing, I realized kindness is one of those incredible ways to show up as a participant in the good. But it's one of bazillion ways. One of the things I know you may be asking is like, how do I do that though, really? Like, how do I actually clean out my ears and make myself available when it's terrifying sometimes, this life? When it is excruciatingly painful sometimes, this life. And what I will tell you is that that excruciating pain, that absolute sense of being lost and ungrounded, is not separate from the good. Our willingness to lean into those realities is how we get to the good. It is when we allow our hearts to be profoundly broken. It is when we look eyes wide open at the world that is right in front of us. The pain in our beloved's eyes. The relapse that our best friend might be struggling through right now. The homelessness of someone that we care deeply about. That is not separate from the good. That is not separate from Spirit's pursuit for reunification to our common good. It's actually part of it. Our willingness to stand close to life. To allow ourselves to be totally affected by this human experience is part of that shared good. There isn't a person in this room, there isn't a person online right now who has not experienced pain, joy, connection, disconnection. And it is all the same ball of wax. And so in our resistance to pain, in our resistance to heartbreak, we miss the opportunity for more good. When we just recognize the reality, the manifest reality that is right here in our very own lives, right in our own homes, right in our own blocks, right in our own city, that reality is full of invitations. Is Spirit saying, hey, come over here, there's a reunification opportunity right here. Spirit's like, oh, here, over here too, there's one right here, and right here, and right here. And that opportunity to sit with somebody in their pain, and that opportunity to share your pain with another. This is the good at work. And I want to share a very specific how that I have found in our book that we use community-wide in leadership training, the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And the 15th commitment, which right now to me is like huge. For every single person who is asking what is mine to do, just go read that chapter, please. The 15th commitment is called Being the Resolution. The commitment is to say to yourself and to life itself, I commit to being the resolution or solution that is needed. Seeing what is missing in the world as an invitation to become that which is required. I commit to standing eyes wide open in the world that I live in, right in the place that I am cohabitating with some other life. I commit to see what is missing and being or becoming what is needed. Or when we are spinning in victim consciousness, spinning in villain consciousness, or just spinning. We may not even know what we're spinning in exactly. The commitment becomes, I commit to responding to the needs of the world with apathy. I commit to being in resentment, doing nothing, or assigning blame. Anybody? I did that just this morning. Who do I get to be mad at? Who do I get to be mad at? But that choice of which commitment am I making in this moment? That choice can only come when we allow ourselves to be aware and conscious and in deep abiding faith that there is an invitation from Spirit itself in every moment. And we can make that choice again and again and again and again and again and again. And we don't even have to get on the merry-go-round of beating ourselves up when we get into apathy or resentment or blame. But we get to get conscious. But, a little bit of blame right now. I would like to be the resolution. So what do I need to do about that? So I'm going to ask you, because we're going to dive deep next week in how to be the resolution. But step one is to be willing to see what's missing. Because we love some spiritual bypass in this new thought community. We love to just be toxically positive, don't we? La 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 la, it's all good, all is well, I don't see the homeless, I don't see the things, I don't see the pain. Sometimes in our very own selves, we don't make room. So what I'm going to invite you to do with me right now, take a deep breath. Remember that God is ever present, ever good, and here right now. And I want you to make yourself conscious of what is missing. When you look at the world from your location in it, from your neighborhood, from your place in it, with the very people and beloveds and relationships that you are in, what is missing? For my beloveds online, put it in the comments feed. And as you land on what is missing, shout it out, share it with the rest of us, because I guarantee you're not the only one who sees it.
Clarity.
Clarity is missing.
Spiritual growth.
Spiritual growth is missing. Love, sweet love is missing. Compassion is missing. Kindness is missing. Fun is missing.
Connection.
Connection is missing.
Presence.
Presence. Say it again.
Play.
Plague. Play. We're going to do more of that later in May. We'll do a whole thing on play. Because I agree, it's missing. So when we allow ourselves to get into the practice of being willing to see what is missing, it's not broken, doesn't need repair, it's just missing. It would be lovely if it was present. I was reading in this chapter about this idea that we can get in, which is, I think, part of why we get so deep in our spiritual bypass and toxic positivity, is we think that if we notice what is missing, then we're putting negative energy or we're putting our attention on something broken, which is not the case. What we're doing is sort of like a song. A song is complete and whole with one verse. Wouldn't it be great if it had two? Now, the song's not broken, it's not bad, it's not wrong. We're just going to add a verse. We're going to go back to the chorus again because we love it. Not because it's broken, just because we want more. So if you notice something missing, nothing has gone wrong. The world is actually not crumbling. It just looks really, really different than we'd like it to. And wouldn't it be great if there was a little more kindness, play? We could add back in some love, sweet love, some more connection, some more presence. And as we do that, we become conscious creators and participators in our common good. Doesn't that feel much better than the world is falling apart and broken and I have to fix it and I can't? You know, I see that there could be some more play. I see that there could be some more kindness. Very different. Doesn't that move us into loving action in a very different way? I don't know about you, but I feel so much more supported when I approach my choices that way. I feel so much more empowered by the one power when I go into those choices fully supported by my faith in the good. Sound good? So anchor this with me as I do a prayer to support each of you and be the resolution. What I know about the one, the holy blessed one, the good, is it is truly all there is. There is no other possibility. It is always pursuing itself in every little tiny bit of life. And in that pursuit, it is always making invitation to me. Hey, do you want to come play over here? Hey, do you want to step over there and bring your goodness with you? And because I know that Spirit is always making that invitation to me, I know that Spirit is making that invitation to every single one of you. And I also know that every one of you are standing on the ground of good, are being inspired by an infinite well of goodness. And so the capacity to be what is needed, the capacity to become what is needed is already met because the good. And my deep gratitude for the goodness that I get to experience in this little corner of the universe with each one of you. That good that I get to watch blossom and expand and just continue to give itself to life and receive itself over and over and over with every inhale and exhale. is to have the privilege and the honor to be such a participant in this good, ever moving towards our common root, our common good. I would revel in the beauty and the harmony and the joy and the peace and the wonder of all that. Anchor it with me by saying amen.